Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm just about to do up my dishes and I thought, you know what? I could talk to you while I did that, so hopefully it's not too noisy with me doing my dishes and we can just chat a little bit about, I don't know, stuff, life. I woke up this morning thinking of another being. Um, I have coffee cups. Well, who doesn't have coffee cups? I don't have sets though. I don't have coffee sets on my coffee cups. Um, I just have coffee cups. Coffee cups. People give me coffee cups, I guess, because I like coffee. And the one I was drinking out of this morning was, sorry, I just sorting so I can get my dishes organized here. The one I was having coffee with this morning was this one. I got this one here from my nephew's wedding. So that reminds me of him and his wife. And also, it reminds me of another person I used to know, somebody I was acquainted with, somebody I used to know, and I no longer associate with. Uh, their choice, not mine. Anyhow, um, I was thinking of them this morning. Reason being is the last I'd heard was that they and theirs were not well. They had been sick. And I hadn't heard anything since. And the COVID has found its way to my daughter's homes. And I have been exposed. I think I'm okay, but um, composting, if you're wondering what I'm doing. So that made me think of this person that I hadn't spoken to in quite some time. So they I was wondering, are they okay? Did they manage to overcome this and all that? Uh, and then the thought went into, I wonder if other people have coffee cups as I do, like random, nothing matches, because people give me cups. And it was brought to my attention that you don't have any coffee sets. And I'm like, I have coffee cups. No, you don't have any matching sets, like for us to sit and have a set. And I mean, I have a couple of teacups that were given to me that kind of like one's red and one's white. One's red with white bits and one's white with red bits. Like they go together, but I'm like, no, I don't. I don't really. I said, now that you've mentioned it, yeah, no, I have not. I just have coffee cups. Well, buy me coffee cups. Oh, I seen this cup. I thought of you, and that. So cool, right? Smoothie. I had a smoothie today, earlier. Breakfast, brunch. Anyway, doesn't matter. And anyway, I was thinking, does it matter? I guess for some it does, right? You need to have all the matching things, all your pots and pans and everything must match, and all your cups must match, and your plates must be the same, and everything must be. And I was like, no, no, it's not definitely not how I roll. I have coffee with random people. Well, I shouldn't say random people. I have coffee with different people every day, depending on the cup I choose out of the cupboard. So, do you have matching coffee sets, coffee cup sets? Or are you blessed with the grace of many different cups from many different people? Because, people see them and they think of you and they purchase them for you and I don't know. It's just it's just something I'm curious about. Is it just me? I'm sure it's not just me. I'm sure there's many other people out there who have their own way of viewing the world, I suppose. Mine is definitely not from I must have this mansion and I must have all the matching bits and I must have, mine is simply practical or sentimental, right? Like, I mean, the fact that this cup is versatile for 3 different people, and if I really thought about it, it could be even more. It could be 4, because, well, the wedding was outside at my sister's, and she did throw the tables together, and so that I could tie her into that. And I'll leave it for, well, actually the 3 people that I think of when I drink from that cup, right? My nephew and his wife, and that other being that I no longer see or associate with anymore. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just thoughts, that I wake up with in the morning. Sometimes I have lots going through my mind when I come to in the morning, and sometimes I sit and I share it with you, and sometimes I just hold on to them, and then I try to explain them later when nothing makes any sense. But isn't that what life's about, though? Journeys, learning, experiencing. Sure, I think so. Oh, a little windy out there. Slowly getting my sustainable living going. I can't believe I still have paper towel in this house. 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I bought it. Found another roll under the cupboard there, and I was like, oh. So I put it on my paper towel roll. Don't know that I've pulled any paper towels from it to use, because, well, not very sustainable. I have fired up my burn barrel a couple of times now, reducing my waste. Oh, you shouldn't burn. It's not good for the planet. Yeah, I know. But I think me burning that little bit is better for the planet than, throwing thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of garbage into the landfills. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in my theory, perhaps. For the emissions that come out of my little 3-minute burn of my little paper bag and my burnables is probably not even the least bit comparable to what a volcano pops out when it erupts, or what a car discharges when it drives. So, I mean, if it's okay for me to fire up my car and run down and get groceries, I think it's okay for me to, I'm justifying, I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm doing the best I can. And yes, I use my burn barrel. And I burn paper products. I recycle all others. And I compost everything else. And my garbage waste, the stuff that you can't recycle and stuff. There are some things I can't burn, due to the light, filmy plastic bits. But that has been cut back substantially since I've been trying to be more sustainable. I think my next big purchase will be individual little, I think you guys call them produce bags, like they're like a mesh bag, and then that way when I go for my bulk items, I'll just use that as opposed to standing there going, I don't want their little plastic bag to weigh out my bulk, and I don't, they don't have a zero scale here in some stores they do. You can take and they zero off and they weigh from there. But in the main groceries, they don't have a zero off scale, so I can't bring my containers with me. So that's my next big investment is, I'm pretty sure they're just a mesh produce bag that they encourage you to buy for your produce, like for keeping them in your fridge. But I mean, I don't put my produce in anything. They don't come in bags. They don't grow in bags. And, I just put it in my buggy, pay for it, put it in my mesh bag, bring it home, and put it in my crisper. So, yeah. So I think that'll be my next investment is these mesh, these reusable mesh bags, and that'll be for the purchasing of my bulk. Oh, get wet. The purchasing of my bulk purchases, like my almonds and like my daughter. She was here from Calgary. We were up for a visit, her and her guy, and we were sitting around. She said, "Having a little bit munchy, Mom." I'm like, "Okay." So I pull out the cupboard and I pull out the jars, and I go, "Well, we got almonds and we have M&Ms and we have nibs and we have and she's like, "Oh, Mom," and I'm like, "Yes, child." She says, to buy something in a plastic and opening it up and put it in a jar and then putting it in your cupboard. She says, that's not sustainable. And I laughed at her. I says, I'm aware, child, that that's not sustainable, that, that's just tricking everybody. And, so I had weed in here and I'd like it to not be, it's plastic porous. Now it stinks like weed. So I'd like it to not be, I'd like to, anyway. Switch gears. Let me switch back to where I was. And I laughed at her. I said, honey, I buy bulk, right? I says, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to buy bulk. Like, I don't necessarily believe in the little plastic baggies that they provide for you or the little paper bags they provide for you for bulk. I says, I don't necessarily like that. And I said, I get the mushroom bags, the paper bags, but they weigh a little more, and then you pay for that. And well, okay, that's what is the cost? Where do I weigh that, right? And still not. So yeah, that'll do. So I think the next time, like I said, my next purchase, I'll buy those mesh bags, and then my bulk purchasing will be fixed. I was stressing myself out to the max. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. This isn't good. This isn't good. That should be banned. And like, what was it? Somebody was encouraging my mom to use those packing peanuts. Okay, well, last summer, they were selling them to people who garden. Like, put this in the bottom of your planter for aeration. I said, don't do it and return it and take it back and get your money back. And why would you, and it's what they're doing. I says, rocks are free and they're right there and they're not detrimental to the planet. They work great for aeration. In fact, it's a natural aeration, rocky ground, rocks and sand, and trying to stay calm over the whole thing. And they're like, you get so uptight. And I said, you tell me, where is styrofoam good and beneficial and sustainable and worthy for anything on the planet? Give me one little example and I'll leave you alone. Neither could come up with anything. I said, yeah, see, that's why, because it's styrofoam. Like, that blue film you see floating around the top of your coffee cup when you have coffee in a styrofoam cup. Okay, those are poisonous gases released from the styrofoam. And, yeah, you're ingesting that. Like, my goodness. Oh, yeah, but we used to have lead in our paint, too. I said, I know we had that, and I survived it, and you survived it, and I'm sure next generations would, too. But if we know it's a poison, and we're discovering that, it causes insanity later on down in the road, especially if you eat your paint. Like, look at all those artists back then, with all the lead in their paint, and they'd lick their paintbrushes, and they lost their ever-loving minds, really. A little bit of lead poisoning. We used to all play with mercury too, right? We don't do that anymore. So, I mean, it's all about learning, right? Learning curves, I suppose. So, anyway, thanks for joining me while I did my dishes up. And first set today, anyway. I usually do them twice. My morning stuff and then my evening. So, Yeah, I'm doing laundry as well. I got to go and switch my laundry up here. But yeah, thanks for joining. And I hope your day is full of grace, peace, and blessings. And that if you've been unwell, you're getting well. And if you know people who are unwell, they're in my thoughts and prayers, and you're in my thoughts and prayers. And that we just keep moving forward. I'm going to finish my laundry and get back to some crocheting. I have started another sweater. Of course I have. This one isn't a hoodie though. This one will be a pullover. One sec. It'll be, so this will be the back. This is the back panel, right? Imagine that on my back. Well, sorry, I had to think that through. Right, this will be the back panel of my sweater. Make it long enough. Yeah, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's a basket weave stitch that I'm doing, and you know when you're walking down the street and that person goes by you, especially in the fall, and they have that sweater on, that bulky warm, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, that is the sweater for the life. That I would wear that the rest of that. It's perfect. There it is. That's the sweater. I'm hoping that this one turns out to be that sweater for me. So, anyway, I am going to finish up my chores and doing what I'm doing. Then I'm going to do some crocheting and continue to just stay low, stay away from everybody. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of this or not, but the COVID has found my family. So I have been exposed. I seem to be okay, but some family members are not faring very well. Anyway, I love you all, and you're in my thoughts and prayers. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Remember to put yourself first, foremost, and always, so that you may be your best self for everyone else. All right. Take care. Peace and blessings again. Bye for now.